And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. So long, Earth. Yeah, you know what? I had to make the thumbnail because every other YouTube channel that exists talking about Pokemon has made the exact same thumbnail, so showing the exact same card. And yeah, I watched PokeRev's video. We mentioned a little bit in yesterday's live when Dan from Catch 'em All Collectibles and Jake from Pokenomics were on. If you haven't had a chance to watch that live, go back and watch that. We talk a lot about the eBay vaults. We talk a lot about like the speculations, what we think are going to happen. But yeah, I mean, in the PokeRev video, all PokeRev did was he talked about Evolving Skies, and he talked, more importantly, talked about that Umbreon. He talked about that Umbreon V, and it was enough to just kind of push people in the right direction. Mr. Nick, if you're out there watching this video, feel free to push everybody to PokemonCenter.com right now and have them go picking up some Brilliant Stars and Lost Origins booster boxes. You would really do me a favor. You just give everybody the little nudge. Send them in that right direction. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, this market, and it doesn't take much to move markets. And I think that's something important to think about too, is when you look at quantity listings of cards, a lot of quantity for a certain card could be maybe 100 of a card, 200 of a card. But when you think about the size of this hobby and you think about the drastic amount of people that are in it, you have somebody just comes in, buys up 100, 200 cards. It's easy to sway these markets. It's the same thing with Temple Forces. When Temple Forces came out, we saw some crazy prices happen, real early on. And I made a video going through the entire set list, looking at all the most expensive cards. And one of the things I said in that video was I could not wait to look at that set a week from now. And then I also said in a month from now, and we're about a month from when I made that video, and we're already seeing crazy prices for a lot of those singles. The one that really sticks out to a lot of people is that Ghastly card. That Ghastly card is doing wild things. The Umbreon V doing wild things. Sword and Shield booster boxes, as soon as they go out of Pokemon Center, listen, I don't even know how many videos I said I can't wait for Brilliant Stars to go out of stock on PokemonCenter.com. Now, I know we've been talking about this a lot in the last week or two. Real quick shout out to Son of a Mewtwo. He said, just paying my dues. I appreciate the super chat, buddy. But, you just think about it. So a lot of people are talking about Brilliant Stars going out of stock on the Pokemon Center, like I said, in the last 2-3 weeks. But I've been wishing for that day to happen for months and years. And it's funny because if shout out to Rusty TCA Game, and Rusty usually watches these videos after the fact. But me and Rusty were talking about we couldn't wait for Brilliant Stars to go out of stock on Pokemon Center. And I have text messages with Rusty talking about that, what feels like months ago. I'm talking months upon months upon months. And the reason why was because he had a really big sale of a Brilliant Star booster box at the time. It was way above market, and somebody was consigning it through him and kind of asking the question, like, was this a real sale? And he's like, yeah, it got paid for. But that was more of an outlier. But Rusty was really excited about Brilliant Stars as a set. I've been excited, and I think when that set goes out of stock, when Lost Origin goes out of stock on Pokemon Center, it's going to go up the same way Fusion Strike did, the same way Chillin' Rain did. And listen, it's kind of a clickbaity title, but it's not really. It's just So Long Earth. You know, I asked Jake in yesterday's live, and I kind of want to get his opinion on it, was just talking about market sentiment. Because a lot of just sentiment as a whole, when you talk about the greater economy, it seems like, in my opinion, very anecdotal, but like talking to people, it seems like people are not like super, bullish on just the economy in general. And I've heard so many people now have so many different conversations just talking about, inflation and the price of everything going up. And I would say probably like the biggest talking point a lot of people talk about is like groceries. And while a lot of people, usually in January 1st, a lot of people get cost of living raises, but even if you get like a 5, 6, 7% cost of living raise, inflation's 11%, it even though you're getting paid more money, it still feels like in a way, you're worse off than you were the previous year just because of inflation. Like, these are the conversations that I've heard people have. Again, this is very anecdotal, but then when you look at the Pokemon hobby, it's almost as if we're going through another mini boom. Now, this is not 2020 type boom where everything and anything is just skyrocketing. Right now, we're just seeing, like, in a way, like mini booms happen. Mini booms on products. And believe it or not, if you look at the stuff that is really popping right now, it seems like a lot of this stuff, for the most part, is pretty timeable. Now, did I call Umbreon V from Evolving Skies going crazy? No. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I called that, but there's been people talking about, a lot of the cards in Evolving Skies and saying, you know what? When you look at the price of Evolving Skies for the booster box and you look at the demand for the sealed product, a lot of these alt arts were really lagging in price, especially when you talk about opening Evolving Skies. There's a reason why we call it evolving cries and not evolving skies, because you're literally crying as you're opening it. And how many non-hollow flapples have been pulled is just an absolutely preposterous amount. And if you've ever watched like Rattle streams, and when Rattle was going after the big Moonbreon chase, like the amount of evolving skies, if you don't get a good hit, the downside it's so bad, and it's just wild. But I mean, so people were making the argument that a lot of those cards were undervalued. Now, even in this hobby though, there's some like cards that are going really crazy in price where the sealed product is kind of lagging a little bit. Like Paldea Evolved. That's a great example of a set. When you look at the Magikarp, what the Magikarp's doing right now is just a single card. It's performing so well right now. But then when you look at the sealed product, while the sealed product is still performing okay in comparison to the rest of Scarlet and Violet, it's still in a way like kind of undervalued opposed to the chase. And we're running in this weird timeline where it's like everything is kind of going up, but then some things aren't. And it brings up the question. It's like, if you're bullish on this hobby, it's really hard to not look around at everything that's going on and not just have all your thoughts be reinforced all the time. And, one of the things about, I know I've been beating this, like, what's the saying? You can't beat a dead horse. And I know I've been beating the dead horse talking about the Pokemon Center, about Evolving Skies, or excuse me, not Evolving Skies, talking about Brilliant Stars and talking about Lost Origin and just waiting for them to go out of stock. And, there is a scenario in which when they do go out of stock, they don't go absolutely parabolic in price, and maybe that they do stay stagnant at that, 143 MSRP. But I am so utterly convinced that that will not be the case. I think all these booster boxes are going to just run. And it's just this weird timeline we are living in right now today, where the hobby is just so timeable in certain things. And it shouldn't be, right? Like, you would think that it's impossible for some stuff to be as timeable as we're seeing it. But, and then I'm just looking at the strength of other areas of the hobby, especially strength in like the vintage market, the semi-vintage market. It's strong across the board. Now, we've definitely seen retraces, like, make no mistake about it, especially a lot of graded cards, but we're starting to see a lot of cards start to uptick again, because we are coming out of a bubble for a lot of this graded stuff, especially a lot of this vintage stuff, because the run-ups we saw happen in 2020 were so ridiculous. There was very few people watching the run-ups of a lot of these cards and thinking a lot of those cards were sustainable, at least when you're talking about run-ups, because you can't have a compounding 100% gain month after month after month. Eventually, you're going to hit that breaking point. And we hit a lot of breaking points on a lot of cards. And, we're starting to see a lot of those cards start to, like, buck that trend of continuing to go down after their tops, and they're starting to creep back up. And more importantly, especially like a lot of like just modern chases right now. The ironic part that not a lot of people are talking about is a lot of modern chases, you know, some of them are actually, even though they've had huge recoveries and the prices that they've made it back to are still in some like cases less than the all-time highs for that card, because usually all-time highs for cards are right at release. But we're starting to see a lot of cards make it right back to their all-time highs. And one of the things you got to really take out of this is you can do like the very point to the onesie twosie, like point to a single card or point to a single product, and that's not really indicative of the entire market. But you can, in a way, start pointing to a ton of things. In fact, it actually becomes harder to find things that are performing poorly versus finding things that are performing well. And even things that are, I think, are performing well, like other people might think that they're not performing well, but like in the history of this hobby, things are doing really well. And I think that's something a lot of people maybe sometimes lose a little bit of sight of is, you know, they kind of forget the past a little bit because they only know maybe the craziest hypes of hypes and the booms of booms. And maybe that can be a problem for some, but I mean, this hobby's doing great. And one of the things Dan mentioned, I want to say it was on my live, or he's mentioned on one of his more recent videos, is just talking about the liquidity that is in Pokemon right now. Liquidity is fantastic right now. If you are priced lowest on the market, especially sealed, but like even graded cards, raw cards, if you are graded lowest on the market and you have something that is even remotely sought after, wild. I mean, the amount of liquidity to stuff is damn near instant. And the fact that there's so much liquidity still in Pokemon today is wild. And not just the fact that there's so much liquidity in Pokemon, the fact that things are continuing to go up in value. In order for stuff to go up in value, you need something to happen that is a lot of people kind of like shun, is you need constant influxes of money. Because, I mean, it takes a lot of money to bring, you know, there's an old saying, rising tides raise all ships. But in Pokemon, the tide that's required, especially when you talk about dollar amounts, it is so much money that has to get like piled in to raise everything. But like that's the thing. There's not a lot of people also selling on the back end too. So even though liquidity is great right now, even though that there's a ton of money in this hobby right now, there's a lot of people that are just happy being collectors or people happy sitting on product. And that is like one of the things you need to happen more than anything else. You need people to be willing to sit on product. And the only way that that happens, the only way people will sit on product is they have to be confident in the market. They have to be confident in the product. They have to be confident in the IP. And they have to be confident in the entire hobby as a whole. And because people have that confidence in Pokemon right now, nobody's panic selling right now. And in fact, there's a lot of products right now that really just don't make sense to panic sell. So, let me know how the stream health is right now. It looks like I might be lagging a little bit on my end. It looks like I'm dropping a couple frames. But yeah, guys, if you guys don't know, every Thursday night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live. So, this is just the night I go live. So, yeah, people are saying it's lagging for them. I don't know why that's happening. So, people said they had to close YouTube and come back. Seems good now. Sorry about that. I am hard connected in. Hopefully, like, during the replay, it's not bad. It's weird. Sometimes during the replay, if there are, like, buffering times or laggy times, there's like really, really weird cuts in the middle of the live where like you could see I'm talking about one topic and then I just instantly in the middle of a sentence like switch to another topic. So let's hope that it stops lagging. I don't really know. Let's see. Stream settings. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm gonna try for a little bit to talk. But yeah, I'm gonna go read the chat real quick. It's Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to cut this live quick because my stream health is so poor. I'm sorry for that, but I'm gonna just read the chat right now. I see Frisky Squid in there. Um, your name is Poop Sock. What a name! That is a epic name. He says, "Mr. Knowledge, do you have PokeRev's number? Get him to pump some Caterpies." I do have PokeRev's number, but I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna message about pumping Caterpies. If anything, I'm gonna message him about pumping Brilliant Stars or pumping Lost Origin. Uh, so uh, Sun Gonda said, I remember when a faceless PK, or I remember when this was a faceless channel, we all thought PK was a knowledgeable teenager. Yeah, there's a lot of people thought that. When I did my original face reveal, there was a lot of people that were absolutely shocked that I wasn't like a little kid and that I was an adult. But that's the thing, man. You just keep getting older until eventually you become the guy Sid from the movie Big Daddy, and you just the guy with the 5-year plan and the old balls. That's what happens to you eventually when you get old enough. So, number one mod in the game, Drew said, "Happy Thursday, everyone." Yes, happy Thursday. Katie said, "Rockets to the moon or rockets to the crypt." Either way, going deep. Yeah, appreciate you, Katie. So, yeah, number one mod in the game. Appreciate you, bud. Ooh, I'm lagging bad, huh? My stream doesn't want to recover at all. So, Son of a Mewtwo said, just pay him my dues. Awesome. So, Ancient Mew said, Fusion versus Brilliant, Brilliant. Fusion's a strong set, but I'm definitely going Brilliant. Let's see. So, let's see, we got Poketyro in the house. Katie said, true, the amount of people saying, I can't wait for a crash, I'm going to buy it all means everyone has cash. And the catch-22 of everything ticking up continues. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like everyone says they only want stuff when it's cheap, but the reality of the fact, Katie, is it's just the polar opposite of that. People only want stuff when it's expensive. It's just like that Umbreon V. There's a lot of people who that card wasn't even on their radar for the last couple months or couple years. I mean, Evolving Skies came out August of 2021. And people had a long time. The time of recording this video is April 2024. So people had a long time to pick up that card if they want it. But and it was never really like an inherently cheap card. It was sitting right around $100. But because there was hype around it, because it then became sought after, because prices ran up, I'm sure there's a lot of people who never looked at that card more than twice. And now because the prices are expensive, they went and bought themselves a copy. Just because they have to have whatever's expensive. That's his hobby. That's his hobby summed up in one single card. Let's see. So Maxwell Gonzalez says, PK, restart with the Wi-Fi. Is it that bad, huh? So let me try going. Try connecting with the Wi-Fi. Now, how do I go back and connect and a hard connect? Let's see if that worked. I've never tried that, but yeah, people are saying it's laggy. Shit. Let me see. Yep, I guess I'm gonna have to cut it short. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Garen M said, money going to Lost Origin and Brilliant Stars booster boxes. Internet bill is second priority. Damn, is it that laggy? I don't know what to do. Sorry, guys. I guess I'm going to have to turn it. It says... What is going on? Let's see. Stream health 4. I don't know how the turn... I don't know how they like turn down the settings. Yep. Sorry, guys. Don't know how to do it. Really, really dropped the ball on this internet today. We have like I pay for like the most expensive internet that I get offered at my town. So, uh, let's see. Yep. Sorry, guys. Listen, we tried. It's Friday. It's Thursday night. I was looking forward to this live. I really had a lot I wanted to talk about too. This is. I didn't even get to talk about the eBay vault. I didn't get to mention that Nat Turner is coming on this channel, but that's all right. It is what it is, guys. Can't win them all. I will. I'll end this live. I might have to just go live again tomorrow night. Do we want 3 nights in a row so I could go live tomorrow night and all the things that I wanted to talk about today, I'll talk about tomorrow. It is what it is. Can't win them all, guys. But listen, appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, we'll just go live tomorrow. That's what we'll do. All right, guys. As always, appreciate every single one of you. And as always, I'll catch you on the next video.